I've always said some of the best things that have happened to me in my life all had like an origin of terror and excitement. That decision was the epitome of those two things. Steady paycheck. Mine wasn't, right? I mean, when you're a younger business, you don't know if you're going to get paid this week, or something like that. Or like you're waiting on payments to come through, accounts receivable, all that kind of stuff. So we were losing steady income. We were losing the perks of her job. So it was terrifying to like give that to, bet on us all in.
Founder to founder, real talk, real stories. One decision that changed everything. This is the best decision ever. Welcome back to the best decision ever. I'm here with my good friend, Drew Larison from 5 Door Media. Drew, we've known each other for a couple of years now. I'm thrilled to be here to chat with you about really your best business decision ever. How are you showing up today?
Good. It's good. We were talking a little bit before we started recording. We've got we have 2 maternity leaves going on at the agency right now. So those are always fun. And we are very excited for new team babies to be in the picture. We got some future marketers that are being born. But yeah, juggling that and it's a weird mix. I'm very excited for them and both of them, it's their first kid. So it's all the new things.
Oh
and
yeah.
Erin and I are now the old friends who are giving advice on babies to our younger employees who are starting families. So it's very exciting, but it's also dear me, how are we going to do this? 12 weeks is a long time, but it's going good. I'm happy. I'm happy for
Awesome.
them. We'll survive.
You will survive. Nothing. Yeah. There's very little that I'm learning. There's very little that happens in business that is actually a true emergency. Almost everything is survivable with a little bit of time.
Well, and we work in the marketing world. There are rare, truly, the world is not ending if 90% of the time when we're screwing something up or that's hard. Yeah. I mean, how many babies are born every year? Maternity leaves happen all the time. People survive them.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup. We're good.
All right. Well, so Drew, tell us a little bit about your agency. For folks who don't know, introduce yourself. Give us kind of the 60-second rundown of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so 5 Door Media, we are based out of Kokomo, Indiana. Proud Midwesterner here, born and raised here in Indiana. 5 Door Media, we are an agency built for cleaning companies that are looking to grow. And, cleaning is a broad term. So we work with residential cleaning companies, commercial cleaning companies, window cleaning companies, exterior pressure washing cleaning companies. Anybody that uses soap consistently to do the job that they have, we can help market them. So a high majority of our clients are in that residential maid service world, but we do stretch out just the entire cleaning industry. So we're a full scope digital agency, anything from branding to website design and development to video services, all things Google, all things social media.
Love that. Love that. So and you guys work nationally, right? You're not just limited to Kokomo?
Yeah. Very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, we've got clients, I think we're getting close to 30 states total. We've got clients in now. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, you're ahead of me because I just counted last week for my own vanity and we're at 27. So
you're
clients
close.
We're close. We're gonna take you by next quarter. That's my 90-day goal.
Yeah.
All right. So Drew, straight up, best decision that you've ever made for your business. What is it?
I've been thinking about this because you asked me to do this a while ago, and we've been in business close to 10 and a half years. So there's been a lot of I've been a business owner for 10 and a half years. A lot of decisions obviously have happened within those years, and some of them great, some of them not. I mean, we're not perfect in everything we do. But honestly, I think the best decision I made, but it was also a joint decision with my wife, and it was for her to fully come on into the business. So for around 6 years that we existed, maybe 5.5, somewhere around there, it was me, right? I mean, Erin was definitely an owner because she was my wife as well, but she had another job, which I was very thankful for because that job came with health insurance. And that was a burden that wasn't on my back as I was trying to start and grow a new business.
Yeah.
But she worked another full-time job, and it was a nonprofit job. So it was a stressful job. It was a busy job. So I came to her for big decisions or big stuff I had to figure out as a solo owner, day-to-day operator. But really that was it, and she came around for the company Christmas parties and like kind of felt awkward every now and then doing those things. But when we made the decision together, which I'll be honest, like that was me pushing her to do it for years, to like fully come into the business and like run this thing with me on a day-to-day basis. I think that was the best decision we've made, and honestly, I came up with that was my answer a few days back. I should have just had her join me. That would actually have been great. Like the best decision we've made. Because it wasn't just my decision. Obviously, like I didn't force her into doing it. Like she agreed to do it as well. But I don't know. I've always said some of the best things that have happened to me in my life all had like an origin of terror and excitement. And that decision was the epitome of those two things. Like it was the beautiful intersection of like terrifying because Erin's job was a steady paycheck. Mine wasn't, right? I mean, when you're a younger business, you don't know if you're going to get paid this week, or something like that, or like you're waiting on payments to come through, accounts receivable, all that kind of stuff. So we were losing steady income. We were losing the perks of her job. Like I said, the health insurance. She also got we got free childcare with her old job as well, which is nuts.
That's pretty
she worked for the local YMCA. So like a perk of her director position she had, like we got free childcare from it. So I am baffled at any conversation I hear people talk about how expensive childcare is. So like there was a lot of great that went to Erin having that, W-2 employee job. So it was terrifying to like get rid of that, to succumb to all that, to like join, bet on us all in, but also like really exciting. And like that has played out to be so true. There are more decisions every day that are at the intersection of terror and excitement. But the excitement I get knowing that like I'm not doing this alone, like I have a sounding board that is at my dinner table at times. We try to like cut it off at some point, but like I have that person that I know, like I'm not doing this alone. I have the person that I can bounce ideas off. And like, honestly, the more we've worked together, we've realized, holy moly, we're a really good pair for this. Like I definitely fit into like that visionary role. I can dream all day if I'm allowed to. I could come up with ideas. I can see something and see opportunities that other people just aren't capable of seeing. And then Erin comes beside me and she's like, okay, but here's how we actually will get that done, right? And she's like that integrator role. She's the detail person. She is like the checklist. She's the spreadsheet queen, as I call her. When like I will never look at a spreadsheet, but I'll listen to if you read it to me. Like that's my mindset. But like she's the spreadsheet queen, and like we've just really figured out that was the best decision because we've just grown into these two roles that are just vital for any small business to have. And like we're so lucky that it's us doing it. Compared to if it was an employee integrator or an employee visionary or something like that, there'd be struggles there, right? But like since it's us, it is such a power move to be on the same page professionally and personally when it comes to goals.
That's cool.
With the person that you get to lay down with at night. Like it's an amazing thing.
We're going to get into this because I'm assuming that there's things that happen where you don't get to lay down because you're on the couch at some point. Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
So let's step back in time because I want to hear how you got to that point. Because first of all, kudos. You've been doing that and roughly half your business. She's been in the business, which I think is amazing.
God, that's a crazy realization. I've never said that out loud. It is like half.
It's like half. Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think about like my own relationship with my wife, and I have an amazing relationship with an amazing woman, but I don't think I could work with her. Right. Yeah. Like under any circumstances in a professional setting, I don't know that would work. So I want to explore that too. Before we get there, though, take me back in time. So what was it like before? As Drew is running the business, you've got stuff going on, and then you have a life partner who is separate from the business. Kind of want to understand how you got to the point of saying, you've got to be a part of this thing. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, there were definitely some steps that led into that. I mean, but to describe the agency before Erin came on, I mean, it is what you'd probably expect it to be. It was a visionary in his playground all day. Like I came up with like every shiny squirrel object that I could capture or like see. We ran after it, which like some of those worked out well. And like they turned out to be this and that. And then others were crash and burn as they would be. Our culture was great because like I macro managed to a fault for a staff. Like that's another thing I've learned. Like I'm not a good manager of people, to be honest. Like I will like let them do what they want to do, and because I, to a fault, like give them like too much freedom. There were no spreadsheets anywhere to be
what's
seen.
a spreadsheet?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like wait, isn't that like coding? I don't know what to do
like,
there.
Don't put me in a box. Yeah,
literally, right? So I mean, it was chaos. I mean, for sure, it was a lot of fun. Like we like went crazy with some stuff and did some things that looking back now made absolutely no sense. But like what Erin, what like the led up to the decision of her like really joining the company. So we have the marketing agencies, right? So we have Larison Media, it's like our legacy agency. We've had it for a long time. It was like the baby that we, brought into the world in business. And that's like we help out a lot of like local businesses with like website design and development, some SEO, some like local video work, that kind of stuff. And then 5 Door Media is, I don't know, pretty darn new as we jumped into that cleaning world and like really wanted to like offer that industry as much value as we possibly could. So we have like separate team for that. But then we also have like another company, and I think I've talked to you about it maybe in the past briefly. It's called the Kokomo Post. So we're based out of Kokomo, Indiana. And, when we were that smaller agency, Larison Media, it was originally the Larison company, but it turned into Larison Media. And our biggest competitors really were still like those local newspapers and local radio stations. And since we were only really working with local companies, I knew, hey, they only have a certain amount of money they're going to be investing in marketing and advertising. They're not like, there's no separate line budget for like digital marketing for them.
Right.
Like
it's just marketing.
Traditional media. It's just marketing. And like, they only have a set amount of money that they're willing to invest in it. And I'm like, in my mind, I was young and trying to grow. I'm like, I want as much of that as possible. So we were competing with the newspapers, the radio and things like that. And I got in trouble a few times. Like I was young and arrogant. I definitely received a few text messages from newspapers saying like, don't threaten people who buy ink by the barrel. Like, I mean, I heard all that. It was fun. And that was the chaos I was speaking about that used to occur. But then I was walking one day. We had a local coffee shop and our office was downtown, and I like would get coffee and walk back to the office every morning. And I walk by one of the local newspapers every morning. And I noticed they had 2 entrances to their office. One was the Kokomo Perspective, which was the name of the paper. It was a weekly paper in Kokomo, Indiana. And then their second one said Wilson Advertising. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is the same company. What's Wilson Advertising? So I looked into it more, and like they had separated their kind of companies, and they have like the editorial, they have the news side of the business, and then had the advertorial side, which is like the entire just advertising business. But the thing about their advertising agency that they ran, the only ads they sold were to be in their paper. So like they weren't doing websites. They weren't doing, social media content like we did a lot of. They weren't doing SEO, that kind of stuff. The only thing they sold were ads in their own newspaper. And I'm like, okay, that's an issue for us, because when the Kokomo Perspective or the other local media, traditional media companies in town, when they sell advertising, 100% of that budget from that client goes to that company. There's no like separate paid ad spend that needs to go to Meta. There's no paid ad spend that needs to go to Google. And I'm like, that's an issue, because they're going to make more than I am simply because 100% of the ad dollars go straight to their platform. So my brain, chaos visionary brain, I'm like, cool.
Let's start a newspaper.
Make my own freaking platform, right? And like I also noticed, and this is a while back, but like I noticed like local newspapers, and this is still an issue across our country, they are not still respecting the internet enough, is what I like to say. Like they're not following attention enough. They're not respecting like what the internet is and the attention that it gets. So I'm like, awesome. I'm going to make something that does respect that. So quickly after that, with little to no planning at all, the Kokomo Post was born. And the Kokomo Post at first was just a Facebook page that we like made funny posts about Kokomo. We, did some live videos of local events. We did giveaways for certain stuff. And I'm not making this up. I think within the first 6 months of that Facebook page being created, we hit like 30,000 followers on our Facebook page. We ran some like big.
How many people live in Kokomo by contrast?
So Kokomo, in the county we're in, is Howard County. And pretty much if you live in Howard County, you live in Kokomo. Like there's like some really small towns other than Kokomo. So we're like 80,000 people, like total population.
So you got like a third of people right away.
Really quickly. And
wow.
And to my visionary brain, I'm like, damn right we did. It was like, this was my idea. And I
had
proved everybody wrong. Like this is what the whole plan was. And then, so that built and it kind of got like crazy. Newspapers hated us, radio hated us because they're like, oh my gosh, she's actually doing it. And the part of the story I guess I haven't told yet. Erin, before she had the job Erin's my wife, before she had the job at the YMCA, she was a seasoned journalist at one of the local newspapers in Kokomo. So she knew journalistic ethics. She knew media guidelines and rules. So I'm sitting back and like, of course, I don't think she ever said these words, but like my entrepreneurial brain, I'm like, Erin, this Kokomo Post thing is really blowing up. It's really going to be something. And like, she never said like, no, it's not. It's stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're not a newspaper, blah, blah, blah. But she said like, okay, but like, what is it? She never really fully understood it because I said I brought some decisions back home. Starting the Kokomo Post was probably not one of them.
That was not
her blessing on. Yeah. So, but it really started to blow up and she's like, okay, if my husband is going to do this thing that like, I don't know, the best way we could describe it, it was like, imagine if Barstool Sports and BuzzFeed was just about Kokomo, Indiana. Like we were all digital.
Yeah. Okay.
We weren't journalists. We weren't news. We were like infotainment is what we called it. Mm-hmm. And this was like really during BuzzFeed's heyday where like everybody was taking the quizzes to see what type of cake a Disney princess would eat, or something, just all those dumb things. And we were figuring out like we made those quizzes, but Kokomo version, like we made funny videos, but Kokomo version. So like we were really figuring it out as we go. But Erin had this realization and she said like, if my husband, if my family is going to do this type of work, how can I possibly sit back and not be involved? Like, due to her background.
She had that. So she had an aha around it.
Well, I mean, I was pushing her.
Okay.
So much. I'm like, Erin, this is really something. And by the way, the Kokomo Post had like no revenue. We had like no advertisers. It was literally just, we gained 30,000 followers. It was in my mind, it was a proven attention concept. In no way was it a proven business concept. Like it was two different things. Right. But it really blew up quickly. And then we started to get like some advertisers and like that was all just made up, and like,
yeah.
It was just, I don't know. Yeah. I'll put your logo on something and
like, give me $100. Sure.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But then like at a certain point it was growing enough. We had like consistent advertisers coming in. So then I hired my first employee with the Kokomo Post, and timeline on this, by the way, was 2 weeks before the world shut down, March of 2020, when I hired my first employee for the Kokomo Post, which I actually snagged a DJ from like one of the biggest local radio stations. I talked her into coming and joining the Kokomo Post. So she was well known locally already and it worked out well. But that was the moment like Erin came over. And then, Erin really helped as like a managing editor type of position. She helped run that Kokomo Post side of things for years until my kind of COO position that I had on the agency side kind of abruptly left. She got like this crazy wicked job offer at like a university and she had to take it. So then that's when Erin and I looked at each other like, I think we need to do this EOS thing. I think you need to be my integrator. And luckily her response was like, I was thinking the exact same thing. Let's freaking do it. So like that hire that we had, the DJ from the radio station still works for the Kokomo Post. She's taken more like a director position at TKP. And now Erin is running the agencies with me as like my integrator.
I did not expect this long and meandering story. So pretty wild. So real talk, did you ever have any apprehensions about, so there's a quote that I like. I had a previous business. It did not go well. I had a business partner who was a friend and we are not friends anymore. And somebody said to me after that and kind of the fallout period of that, and he said, it's better to make friends with those with whom you do business than it is to do business with friends.
Sure.
And now in your spot, like I'm putting myself in your shoes, you're looking at your bride and now you're saying, all right, honey, do you want to step into this? Was there any apprehension around that?
For me, 100% no, because I am that like, let's jump out of the plane, build the parachute on the way down person. But as I'm about to jump, I turn around and Erin has like 4 test parachutes she's already been working on. And like, she like, is like, well, I did test on this one first and like this one broke, but only, so to her, 100%. And I remember her biggest apprehension, honestly, it wasn't the money. It wasn't, the perks of her job. She loved the mission of the nonprofit she worked at. And she was really apprehensive about leaving that. But really the biggest thing she had apprehension for, and like I said, like she came around for holiday parties, like she heard the great stuff, right? And she was really nervous about the wife of the owner duo coming in and like ruining things. And like it just be culturally weird. She was like, I don't want to come in and like screw up what you've built. I think that was what she kept saying over and over. So I just had to and we talked through that. And honestly, before we really made that decision, we went to marriage counseling, not because like marriage was struggling. We needed a innocent bystander to like walk and talk us through it. And we needed their blessing that they thought it would be a good idea. So we actually did like 3 months of marriage counseling.
Wow.
And that was fascinating until we got to the end of the 3 months. He's like, okay, I can't diagnose with you with anything because you guys are fine, but like your insurance won't keep paying for this anymore. Like
it's time to make a decision.
Like, either start paying for it or like, I think you guys are good. I think you're good to go. But it was good. So like that counseling, like literally we went through multiple situations, made up work situations that we thought could be real. It felt like premarital counseling, which I don't know if you did that before you got married, but like they talked like, all right, let's talk about household chores. Who's going to do it? What are expectations? Right. And like, it was very similar, but to a business. Let's like lay out every possible expectation that could come up.
And how will we
let's talk through it. Let's play it through it. And so that was, of course, that's a great example of Erin's like building those test parachutes. That was her idea. She's like, I think we should go see like a therapist and like walk and talk through all of this. I'm like, we don't need it. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Yeah. We got this. Come on, babe. Let's ride.
But like, it was, she's brilliant. So of course that was one of her great ideas to do. And it was so helpful. And so we did that before, but yeah, she felt a lot of apprehension, not that she wasn't confident and that she could help or do the work. Her biggest concern was coming in and screwing up the culture that had existed for 5 to 6 years. And like didn't want to be like the wife coming in and like no one knew her that well and all of a sudden she's their boss too. So like that was her biggest like apprehension.
Did it go that way? Was that in any way validated or verified?
No.
Just wasn't.
I am very biased, but like to know Erin is to love Erin. Like if you know her, she is super kind. She is thoughtful to a fault sometimes, and she would admit that too. But like, no, there was no weirdness that I'm aware of. And what has been interesting, so because I had, like I said, 5 to 6, I don't know the exact timeline, I probably should, but I think I had like 5 to 6 years of going through business owner stuff that I never really brought home to her because it wouldn't have done any good.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like she didn't have experiences of an employee resigning, or she didn't have the experience of like having to let somebody go. She didn't have experiences of like upset clients. So I've had to like be patient and understanding with that when those things happen for first time or second time, because they're not just you do it once and you're good. No, they suck the third time, the fourth time, or like all those situations. I've had to like understand like, oh wait, yeah, she hasn't gone through this yet. This is new to her. And like kind of like sit back and let her experience that without just telling her to like get over it. This is a part of it. Like I remember when I had my first employee resign. I mean, luckily we're still very good friends today. Shout out Lainey. But like, it was devastating.
It's a gut punch. Yeah,
it's a gut punch, man. And like, it was one of those unfortunate situations. She had no interest in doing it. It was a health insurance, like kind of deal. She was getting married. Like it was, nobody wanted it. So it made it even worse. But like, I remember when Erin was here and then the first employee left, she went through that too. Right. And then she went through that like really hard time. And, but like, no, there's been no issues. She has not ruined anything. She's made us so much better, so much better. But there's definitely been like me looking back, I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. She hasn't experienced this yet. You've done it before. How can you help lead her through that without just saying like, yeah, buck it's part of it. Yeah, buck up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's such an interesting, that's so interesting. This is one of the things that we see in our business. We're actually seeing it unfold in our business this week, like real talk. Yeah. There's just some stuff going on. Yeah. And it's the messy people side of it where in the moment, it's so easy. I started my first business, truthfully, by accident when I was 12 years old. I was cutting my parents' lawn. Yeah. And the neighbor walked over and said, "Can I give you $10 to cut mine?" I'm like, done, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm 40 now. So that's a lot of life that has been in business. And it's so easy to go to the things that I know, the things that you know, the things that we've experienced, the uncomfortable, just the messy crap that happens, that comes from dealing with people. And you look at somebody in that role and they step into it and you're like, well, how come you're not doing it as well as I have? Well, because I've done it 400 times and this is number 2 for you. That's really valuable perspective.
It's like anything else too. You get your reps in, right? And it's just, right. It's like going to the gym and you get stronger with your biceps if you do your bicep curls, right? It's like anything else in life. You just get your reps in, but it's also like really easy, I think, as an owner, to get jaded too when sucky situations happen. Yeah. And that's been an interesting thing to watch Erin. Cause like I said, I'm like over a decade in not having a boss, and the last boss I had, I think I probably experienced this too. Like after I became a boss myself and an owner myself, like you start to have a lot more empathy towards your old bosses. Yeah. But empathy, but also like understanding.
Yeah.
Of where maybe in not their best moments, you're like, oh, I get that now. Yeah. And I think Erin had that a few times, and she's like, oh, I should call them. I should say sorry.
I'm going to say sorry.
Yeah. Like I should apologize for some things that went down, or like it's just, you see things from that other lens or that other side of that table, and you have a lot more understanding and empathy. And that's been interesting to her to see too. Right. Cause like, that was an interesting thing when I was fully running it on my own, and I would come home from work and I'd hear Erin, like any employee does, like, oh, you won't believe what my boss said today, or like, you won't believe what I had to do today. And I'm sitting at the other table like, yeah, your bosses they actually sound right. I think they're right in this situation. And I learned like that was the opposite right response. Should have said that. But like, and then it's been interesting seeing her, past that now, like seeing the other side of that too.
Becoming that boss.
But it's just getting reps. Yeah. Becoming that owner, becoming that boss. And you just get those reps. And what I was saying too, it's easy to see how people get jaded, but I think that's an opportunity as a leader to be like, I understand how you could be, but I'm still not going to be, like still keep doing the right thing for your people. Because you're right. The hardest part about business, the hardest part about life is people. But like, dear me, people are also what can make things best, right? So it's you gotta see both sides of that coin, and get your reps in. But still jaded.
I had a business partner. I had a business before I started the current one with Christian, and Christian. We've met him many times.
It's my favorite.
And he's a great guy. Absolutely love him. But my first business partner, my first real business partner, I would say, for my big boy business, when we were making real money and we had an actual team and there was real overhead and actual responsibility, not just, cutting grass for my neighbor. That relationship did not end well. It fell apart, and it did leave me personally very bitter and very jaded for a very long time, because it had hurt me. It hurt me so deeply on a personal level. Financially, I kept the business running. After he walked away with half of every dollar, I kept all of my staff but that forced my family into $42,000 in high interest credit card debt just to put food on our table. And I remember saying to a friend and mentor of mine, I remember saying, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing the partner thing. Like, I'm just going to hire helpers and that's going to be it. Because it is easy to get bitter. And it took a long time. And truthfully, when I met Christian, there was just something different enough about him in how he operates and how he sees the world and how he thinks that I was willing to say, maybe this one, like maybe we'll give that one a go.
What a compliment to Christian too. Like, and I'm sure he knew your past experiences. Like, I don't think you guys went to marriage counseling like Erin and I did.
We probably should though.
Honestly, it was such a good idea. And like, I've talked to many people, husband and wife, business owner duos, they're like, oh my gosh, we should have done that. That was brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were like deep conversations still, like maybe not a therapist was in the room as well, but like, hey, here's my experience of the past. How do we make sure this doesn't happen? Like, what are expectations? And I think, speaking just people, one of the most important things about just human relationships are just setting expectations and making sure all expectations are very clear.
Very clear.
Because if the expectations are there, it's pretty hard to be disappointed, right? Unless, somebody does something to intentionally not meet those expectations. But like, I mean, client relationships, right? Same thing in the agency world. I think that's one thing agencies, I think, have done a horrible
really bad job at
in the past. Like, I think we do it. Our industry does it to just get a quick buck and sell, but then like it just never ends well, right? So like even just results expectations, ROI expectations, and helps so much. And that's really all that counseling was for us, was like an hour a week spilling out expectations and like debating if they didn't have expectations that I did, and then figuring out how to get on the same page.
So good. So good. So I want to go back to something that you mentioned earlier, because I asked what was it like before Erin stepped in, and you said it was a lot of fun. I was a macro manager, so it was just like total hands off, complete chaos. And then you mentioned EOS, which is the entrepreneurial operating system. We run our business on that as well, which is very structured, very to the point where, as a visionary, I am oftentimes annoyed by the amount of structure. Like, I don't want to fill in my scorecard this week because why would I look at data, right? I mean, just real talk.
Yeah.
You bring in your wife, who is herself worried about disrupting the business and the culture, and then you implement EOS, which is going to disrupt the culture. How did that all go down?
It's a great question. And yeah, we really did a lot of change in general has happened in 2025. I mean, EOS launched, we lost that like very key employee. Erin switched into the role that she's in. I've switched into like a visionary role. Like really 5-Door grew all in 2025. So that change happened too. And I think specifically when it comes to the EOS, I don't know. And I think a lot of people, because I was this too, and maybe you guys were as well, like, it is so structured and focused on clarity and those expectations that, like, when we first launched it, I'm like, can't somebody just tell me, use this scorecard? Can't somebody just tell me, like, here's every topic we talk about in every L10? But then I quickly realized, and we might have talked to Lynn Askin or somebody else, maybe it was Chris Roderick, I forget who I was leaning on during those moments, but they're like, all right, you need to know no one, and I mean literally no one, follows EOS 100%. Like, what you're going to do, you're going to find a sweet 80%, follow it by the book, and the other 20% is going to fit you, fit your people, fit your culture, and fit their expectations. And like, that was really a breath of fresh air, because I was like, all right, we're going from like huge cultural changes, huge staffing changes, to now I'm gonna like make everybody going, not just cultural changes, but like I said, like macro manager culture changes, where a lot of people had a lot of freedom here, right?
Yeah.
So like, as long as they got their work done, like, I don't care. I was hosed by that famous Steve Jobs quote, like, hire smart people so you don't have to tell them what to do.
Yep.
Maybe that works for Steve, but the average small business, you can't lean on that too much. Like, people still, and from the employee end, like, they want to be told what to do. They want structure. They want those expectations. And I just was like, no, Steve Jobs told me to just not tell them to do anything. Just hire, you seem smart, work here. So I was like, I got stuck on that for a long time. So we were going from like very macro management company to like, dear me, no more, right? We have these things called L10s. And I will say the book, What the Heck is EOS? That quickly became everybody on staff has to read this. We had calls about it. There had to be questions. And the What the Heck is EOS is a book designed to explain EOS for the employee. Like there's traction and rocket fuel for like the owners, but What the Heck is EOS is a book designed to explain the process and the why behind EOS to an employee. So like we bought copies of that for everybody, and like we actually kind of like quizzed them on it to make sure they actually read it, because it was that important. Because if we're going to do this, we're going to freaking do it, right? So like that helped out in a huge way, but nothing has been perfect. Not everybody just like said, yes, sir, let's do EOS now. There was pushback. There were questions, which there should be, right? And that should be totally expected, because like I said, where we were coming from to where we are saying we are now was just completely different worlds. So there's a lot of change that happened, but I think we slow rolled it. We did not rush it. I mean, we started off, we created our L10 leadership team. We had meetings for, I think, month and a half, 2 months. And then the people inside that L10 started leading departmental L10s. So like we didn't just say like day one, here's everybody's new schedule, here's scorecards, right? With the L10 leadership team, we really wanted to make sure we knew what we were talking about before we just told everybody else to go do it. And that was probably Erin's brain, once again, building parachutes, test parachutes on the plane. I would have been like, here's what it is, go do it, figure it out.
All you smart people, make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah, make it happen. Read the book. You're good. You read the book, right? You're fine. Yeah, you're good. But I think we slow rolled it, and that helped a lot. But now, I mean, a lot of things should have changed since we launched it too. Like we have a like account manager weekly L10. And, you know, for a while I had like some operation people like leading that, but like I jumped into it. I'm like, oh, I love being in this. So like even that, as the visionary for the company, I probably by the book should not be in that meeting, but like I love it. And it's an opportunity for me to sit down with my account managers once a week and just jam out together. And I felt like that was something was missing, right? Like my voice, not to sound arrogant, but like my voice and my experience in client services was not touching my account managers for the longest time. I was leaving it up to managers that I had kind of trained and like let them train account managers. But now like it's one of my favorite meetings of the week. But according to EOS, I probably shouldn't be in that meeting, but like I get so much value out of that, and so does my team. So like I'm in those meetings now. So I mean, you find it out. You find out what works for you. I wish I could give credit to some person who told me, but they said like 80% of it you're probably going to follow pretty darn close. 20% of it you're going to figure it out, and like you're.
It may be Lynn. It may have been Lynn Askin, because he is our EOS implementer.
Yeah.
And I actually just talked to him last week, and I remember him saying the same thing to us.
So it probably was Lynn. Yeah.
I just remember him saying the same thing, because we were looking at, I mean, they send you a binder, and I was like, what the is this? You know? And he was like, it's okay. We're going to make this work for you. And it has. And again, this is basically becoming an EOS podcast, because everybody that comes on it talks about EOS, but it has. I mean,
a lot of people's best decisions probably are EOS. So that makes sense, because like it could change. It really does have that power to change every little thing about your business, because it's just so focused on clarity. So going back to expectations too. I mean, that fits into that world as well, you know? But that we changed a lot in 2025, and we tried to do it not all at once, but like slow roll it, which I think helped.
Yeah, love that. So I just want to sum up what I've really heard you say. So the best decision that you made was bringing Erin, your life partner, and making her an actual collaborator in the business. But the why behind that, like, why was that the best decision? What I heard you say, and tell me if I misheard, is that she's bringing structure and a skill set that you do not have.
100%. Yeah. And it is a classic, she brings the yang to my yin, or whatever you want to say it. Like, we are the yin and yang together. And honestly, that's been hard at times too. I think we're in a good rhythm now, but even at first it was because I was running it in the chaotic way that I enjoyed, my like probably ADD visionary brain enjoyed doing it. And then she came back and she knew she couldn't push too hard, but I'm going to push a little bit because we need this structure. So, I mean, there were definitely, fights, there were arguments, and there were, hard times with it, but it's absolutely been worth it. Yeah. Cause she brings what I can't and I bring what she can't. And I think there's a very beautiful, like, understanding to that now,
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I love that. I'm a big fan. This is a very new podcast, so it's not like there's a deep body of work that I could say, go back and listen to this one, but I'm a big fan of know your strengths, know your weakness, work on your strengths, hire someone to fill the weaknesses. To me, that just makes all the sense. And it sounds like you guys have done that, not just in life, but also now in business too.
100%. Yeah.
So good. Drew, thanks for coming on, man, for sharing your story, for talking. This is real talk, right? I'm sure, I know in my relationship, this would not work because both me and my wife are visionaries. And so that would be like the fast track to hell if we tried to work together.
No, you just hire an integrator then,
Well, and maybe for the next one we will.
Man, I just can't imagine not doing it now. It's one of those, and people say that about EOS, right? I remember we were like a month and a half into EOS. I'm like, how the hell did we get anything done before this? Like we would just, you know what I mean? But it's the same idea. Yeah. And I think Erin's at this point now, like, she's like, oh, I can't imagine having any other job. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine doing anything else if we weren't doing it, like, together. So, jump out of the plane, man. Yeah.
So, Drew, for people who are maybe listening and on the off chance, it's been amazing. If there's an entrepreneur that wants to reach out to pick your brain, if there's a cleaning company, somebody who uses soap that needs help getting more soap customers, I guess, how do they reach out to you? How should they get in touch?
Absolutely. Yeah. Facebook, I'm a big Facebook guy. You can find me just Drew Larison on Facebook. LinkedIn can be great as well. Really, any of the social platforms you can find me. I think my username is always like Mr. Drew Larison or something like that on social platforms. So reach out. But if you're interested in like the services or learning more about what we do at 5-Door Media, 5doormedia.com. We actually have a podcast with a lot of like great industry experts that we bring onto that show. Actually, I interviewed Lynn this week on our podcast.
Did you? Good for you.
Yeah. We had we do our podcast by seasonal like topic, and we were way ahead. And season 5 is going to be about like financials and finances, stuff like that. So I wanted to bring him on to talk about like how to use EOS for the financial side of a business too, to create that financial clarity. So I just had him on the podcast too. But yeah, you can find that podcast. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, really anywhere you could find podcasts as well.
So good. So good. Drew, thanks for coming on, bud. It's been great to just hang with you and to chat and to hear a little more of your story.
Appreciate it.